if something comes up, like crisis prevention center or something like that in South Utica, we will reopen for a meeting. So yeah, right now we're currently doing, it's called South Utica field trips. So we did one at the Outcome last weekend, and last week or week before last week. And they gave us, what's that?
I think it was just last week.
Yeah, and they gave a tour of it, what they're up to, with the money, where their money's been going, when, everything. So it was really cool. So we'll be doing one once a month. But before I get started, sweating and dying, I'll let Jimmy go over the police report for you guys, and then we'll go from there.
109 calls for service within a week, which is fairly low, being that, you know, it's getting nice out compared to other like other areas like West Utica. Within a week, it's over 300 calls, 400 calls in other parts of Utica. So 109 is pretty good for South Utica. So go South Utica. You know, we have our armadillo. It's up and running right now. We did have it in South Utica. Paid for that for a little while. What else? There's nothing to really report to people of South Utica, but just, you know, continue to lock your doors, your cars, your homes, be vigilant, you know. Anything suspicious, call us, let us figure it out and determine what the possible issue is. What else here? Also, for the elderly people, make sure when you're going to the store, you're keeping your belongings close to you, or don't carry important documents in your purse. Like my parents, they always have to carry their social security birth certificate. I'm like, why are you carrying all? Leave all that stuff at home. You know, it's a pain to get all that stuff back, but you're just so old school, you know. But I mean, we have had robberies in the past where juveniles would target the elderly, like going to grocery stores and stuff like that. They have their purse and breaking in a shopping cart, and they just casually just, you know, go to their cars and stuff like that. And we just want to be proactive with we just want to be proactive with that type of stuff. So I mean, pass the word around just to make sure keep important belongings at home and the purse and the belongings next to them, lock the doors, you know, cars, everything, you know, anything important, you know, even if your doors are locked, you know, people are smashing and you know, that'd just be more, you know, more of a hassle to get it all fixed and stuff like that. Other than that, I don't have anything else for you guys. You guys maintain something.
Jimmy, there was a car stolen out of the Calvin Center parking lot on Sunset within the past few days.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about that.
We've all got letters, all of the residences talking about this, and it had that subject in it, and it's a, you guys have been notified.
Yeah, well, yeah, we get, whenever there's a stolen vehicle, it's always, we always get an email, department-wide email. So, I mean, I don't think I've seen that email, or maybe I have. Unfortunately, we get a lot of stolen vehicles because people tend to leave their cars, you know, running, like if they're running to the corner store or anywhere, you know. I mean, it can happen in any neighborhood too. So make sure you guys, you know, turning off your car and taking the keys, stuff like that. Yeah.
Is there any particular way in which there have been constituents that have complained about noisy parties or whatever? Is there anything in particular the best way to?
As far as the noise, yeah, I would just call the non-emergency number. Let us go there. Let us deal with the people. Sometimes we try to be fair to people. Like, you know, it's nice out. People want to have parties. You know, you can have friends over. It's, you know, you gotta keep the volume to a minimum. You know, if we're driving, we can hear it from our car. And that's loud, so that's a ticketable offense. But we try to knock on the door, tell the person, hey, there's people complaining, just turn it down. You know, we'll leave. Sometimes we'll get people, once we leave, they turn it back up. And go there, they see it, they turn it down. So it's one of those cat and mouse games, you know what I mean? So, what can also happen too, if they're doing that, and somebody hears it, like I could take a supporting debt from her saying that she heard the loud music, and we can go off her supporting debt, basically saying she
After
heard
that
the music.
position?
Yeah, saying that she heard the music, and then we can write that person a ticket too. But some people are just scared of like retaliation and stuff like that, because they, you know, they gotta live with these people next door, you know what I mean? I always try to tell people, first try to go speak to them, you know, and if that doesn't work, then call us maybe, but some people don't even like to do that, they just would rather have a cop deal with it, and that's fine too, you know? We'll go over there and try to do what we gotta do, you know, mediate the situation.
I just want to
Yeah.
get an idea of how.
Yeah, but like I said, those scenarios, we get that with those all the time. We'll go there, tell them turn the music down, we leave, we turn it back up, we go back, they see us coming, we'll turn it down, you know, so, but if we can hear it and we're in our car driving up, yeah, it's definitely a ticketable offense. So, but you get something sometimes will take 0 tolerance and just say, you know what, here's your ticket. I won't give you one, here's your ticket. So, yeah.
Since you've been starting with the, so with the ATVs, have you noticed a decrease since you guys have been, or has it been the same still?
I mean, summer just started, so,
Alright.
it's still a little early, but
Yeah, 'cause I know you guys were like encouraging people to call 911 if they see
yeah,
them.
it's really tough if we have like a, some policy,
Okay.
you know, and even if we do follow, we'll just come right up here, you know, and nobody, you know, or go through the golf course and ruin the golf course too, you know?
No, gotcha.
But yeah,
It's really important for people to understand the reason, as Jimmy just said, we have a no pursuit policy. And the reason for that is because it's terribly dangerous.
Yeah.
That you get them going faster, you get them heading into traffic. So pursuing them, and there have been other cities that have suffered terrible tragedies because police were pursuing ATVs. So it's very frustrating when we see them. If you see an ATV behaving dangerously,
Yeah.
call 911.
yeah, call us, or if you know what house you're all stored at, you can call us ahead of time, and we'll go there, we'll speak to the resident or the landlord, whoever owns these vehicles, and then we'll let them know, like, hey, we're getting complaints that, you know, you guys are riding four-wheelers and dirt bikes, and, you know, illegally, so we know where it's coming from, you should back it off.
And we do have a law whereby we now impound them. A couple of weeks ago, we impounded 13 altogether, I think.
A lot, yeah,
That provides people with a pretty good incentive to follow the law, and we'll impound them, so.
because it costs a lot, $1,000 just to get it back,
Right.
so,
Right.
yeah. Anything else?
Real quickly.
Yeah.
Recent scams.
Scams? Yeah, what I've noticed too is like they somehow always target the elderly. They always somehow get the elderly and give them their social security and all that stuff. I mean, I've taken reports where I had one guy, he went to like 4 or 5 different stores buying these Apple credit cards, and he would scratch them off and give the person on the phone those numbers, and they would be like $200 cards, $300, 4 or 5. It's tough, you know, because then you get some people that call. I feel like it's like they work in like a call center, because if you listen, they've called me before, and you can hear people talking in the background. It's crazy. But just, you know, more or less just try to tell, you know, pass the word along to the elderly to, you know, not give up their personal information. And we get some calls where they're like, they know, they'll call pretending to be one of the family members, and they'll know everything about that family member. So when they're calling the other person and they're thinking it's their nephew or their grandson, that, hey, send me money, I'm in jail in Texas, and they'll like send the money and stuff like that too. So it's, I think with the rise of, with COVID, that started a whole another, you know, another thing going on as far as scams and stuff. So, just make sure you guys just pass the word along, don't give out any personal information and stuff like that.
Yeah, best thing to do is just hang up.
Yeah.
Hang up, and if it really is your grandson, I gotta call
Yeah.
him.
Right.
I like to, if they call me, I like to joke around with them back, and then I start getting bored, and I hang up. Or they get mad at me, and then hang up on me.
At the last council meeting, Bob Burmaster said that he had somebody on the phone for an hour. And I said, well, that's a great service, because a whole hour where they couldn't call somebody else.
Yeah.
But he knew that they were scamming, so he just kept them on the phone for an hour. I thought that was a great act of self-service.
Yeah. like I said, I noticed they always target the elderly. It seems like, I don't know where they're getting their information and stuff. Yeah, just gotta be just aware of everything nowadays, you know? All right.
Any other questions? Okay, good.
All right, guys.
Not great.
Thank you. Yep.
Okay, so we've been kind of highlighting the community that are doing some awesome things are raising awareness for something. And today I asked Susanna to come in and tell us about something that she's been doing in the community since 2016, and she's actually going to be able to have her first event this year. So if you could stand up right there, sit there, and tell everybody just real quickly about you.
Are you recording me?
Yep. You're a star.
All right, so hi everybody, my name is Jasenia Wright. I'm the CEO and founder of Carriage Closet. I started Gibbons Closet in 2016. So what it is a donation-based clothing closet where I collect gently used items such as clothing and shoes for right now. I'm in footwear, and I donate them to people in need. I realize that there's a challenge. A lot of people don't have transportation to get to where they need to get the services that they need. So I wash and dry the items and I'll deliver them to whoever needs them. And I started this, like I said, in 2016 because as a young child, my family, we were a low-income family. I was raised by my grandmother, and we relied on different resources in the community to get what we needed, such as the Hope House. We visited the Hope House a few times to get food. We visited the Salvation Army. We participated in Operation Sunshine through the Neighborhood Center for gifts for Christmas. So I realized that there's a need in the community, and that's my way of giving back. And I speak very fast, and I hope you guys caught that. I'm working on that. Something I'm working on. Slow it down. Yeah.
Where are you located?
Where am I located? So I'm located in South Utica. I do this all out of my house for right now. Hopefully in the future I'll get a space. I'll become a not-for-profit, a 501c3, and get a space where people can come to my space if they feel comfortable doing so and shop or have a shopping experience. But for right now, it's right out of my house in South Utica.
So how do you find the people in need to give the clothes to?
So a lot of different ways. So I created a Facebook page. It's called Gibbons Closet. So I'll post on there.
What closet?
Gibbons Closet.
Okay.
So I created a Facebook page, Gibbons Closet, and I'll post what I have. And I say I have the following items in need. If anybody needs it or knows of a family, please reach out. Everything's confidential. I mean, I feel like that way I've reached late this year. It's become like really, it's reached a lot of people. So people will share my posts, will like my post, comments, so that way it'll generate more views. And so recently I had somebody reach out, a worker from the Oneida County Department of Social Services, preventative unit. She reached out, she's like, hey, I have this client. So I feel like a lot of people talk and they get to discussing different resources in the community, so they find out that way. I'll post it on my Instagram page, and I made my page public, and I also post it on my personal Facebook page. So I feel like more people are my friends on my personal Facebook page, so I'll post it on my Gibbons Closet, repost it on my personal page, so it can, reach more individuals. Yeah.
So do you find out who needs these clothes? Because do you almost like curate like a certain amount of children and gender? Is that what you do? Or do you kind of like, you know what I mean? When you find specific clothes for the specific.
No, so I take in any type of clothes for women, children, men, any shoes, any sizes. So it's not any, but I don't.
I mean, when you're delivering it to like a family or.
So I'll deliver to anybody needs it. So if it's a man, if it's a family, if it's a.
So you sort through, for say if it's a man, you sort through for all the gentlemen's clothing.
Yes.
Oh, that's cool.
Yes. So what they'll do is they'll reach out on Facebook, say, hey, I have this family or this person, I'm this size, looking for this size and this. And I'll go through my stuff and let them know what I find. If I don't have it, I'll save the information and say, hey, I don't have it right now, but if I have it in the future, I'll reach out and keep you updated. More recently, I started creating, I participated in the Creature event over the weekend, so I created these referral forms. So if I didn't have what they needed right at the table, they filled out the referral forms with their name and their phone numbers and the items that they were looking for. And then once I get those, then I can reach out and follow up with the individual. Yes?
So do you have so if we have something we wanted to donate, we go to leave you a message on Gibbons Closet?
Yep, I think there's a feature on there that says book now.
Book now.
Somebody, it's like book now. Some people send me a message, some people use the feature. It's up to you.
Okay. But we can just, like, personal message, direct message you on Facebook message. Okay.
Absolutely.
And do you put out a wish list of things you might need or want, or?
I do post that sometimes, so sometimes I'll have families or individuals who reach out and say, hey, do you have any baby boy clothes? I'm having a baby due in a couple months, do you have any of these items? And if I don't have it, I'll make a post, like Gibbons Closet is looking for the following items.
Nice, okay.
Thank you.
Where do you go to donate, like, before the Salvation Army, people could go down there and drop off? Where would you go to drop off for this?
For this, so, you're recording, right? So I was having people to come to my house, and my husband's like, you can't just be carriage. So I'm like, I'll use my grandmother's apartment. So I've been using my grandmother's apartment on 1019 Mohawk Street because she has Alzheimer's and she doesn't stay there, but she still resides there.
You and I should talk, because everybody knows where I live, and I'd be happy to have like a tub on my front porch that is just a drop off for your closet. And we can make a nice tub and put a good sign on it, because everybody knows where I live. It's too late to do anything about that. So you and I should talk about that. Because then I can use like a place in South Utica where they can drop things off.
Perfect. So hopefully I get a space. That's the goal I'm working on, becoming a not-for-profit now, so.
I just want to very briefly say, the thing that's so cool, I mean, there's so many things that are so cool about this. But one of the things that happened a couple of years ago that not everybody realized is that our Salvation Army closed.
Yeah.
Because it's in the hospital footprint. And so they lost their lease and they chose not to open up or didn't find somewhere else to. And that was a really important place where low-income families would go to do their clothing shopping. And now we do have, there's a little thrifty shopper in the Veterans Center, and then there's the thrifty shopper out in New Hartford. But Utica doesn't really have as much as it used to when we lost that Salvation Army. So you're filling a really important need.
Thank you. I do want to recognize that there's a Facebook page called Helping Hands.
Okay.
And I believe that they also do similar work. I don't know if they transport it, but I know that you can drop, there's a drop-off location, women use her porch, where they drop off items and people come to her and pick it up.
Yeah.
I think mine's just a little different. I think in the sense that I'll transport and I wash and I go sort through the holes. Like I'm not gonna give out items that have stains or holes. So when I say gently used, I mean gently used, because I wouldn't want somebody to really look for me, you know, in that condition.
Are you gonna need volunteers for your event that's coming up?
So I'm also on volunteer, thank you for asking.
Tell me about your event, tell us about your event.
So I am hosting my first annual clothing drive on July 31st at the Veterans Outreach Center. It's going to be from 1 to 4 p.m. And anybody and everybody is welcome to come. Hopefully the people that actually need it and can benefit from it come out and support. If not, if they can't make it, hopefully they'll have a worker or a family member or friend that can make it and deliver the items to them.
And I'm sure you thought of this, but one of the things I was worried about is that you'll get 2,300 garbage bags full of clothes that haven't been sorted. Like people will just be happy to dump stuff on you. So think about how to deal with people just trying to dump their problems. You know, yeah, probably is. I didn't need to get off it.
You guys, anyone have any questions for her?
Yeah, would you, if you get enough children's clothing, would you be interested in hosting some type of back to school event, maybe towards the end of August? All these kids that are gonna be going back to school, and it's really important to them, and I know we do, there's so many people that do book bags and this to get them ready, but when it comes to, as much as we don't want to admit that's important, to these kids, it is important to show up with, you know, new clothes, something like that, school clothes, it's important. Would you consider hosting a drive like that maybe before school starts?
Yes, absolutely. So I'm open to any suggestions. So it's really exciting. I'm happy about this being my first year where I'm actually, I feel like more people have recognized it and are aware of the service versus in the past. People wouldn't really know, like, I didn't promote it as much. But, so I would definitely be open to that.
Yeah, I think it's a great thing. If you want any help, I will definitely 100% help you, so.
Thank you.
I wish you guys could have that.
Yeah, I've already been collecting, I've got like a bunch of dresses with tags on them, which was really impressive when I shared it, so a bunch of clean dresses with tags. I'm like, gee, I tried not to do it. These are perfect, so.
My new thing is from that event, I realized there's a need for a worker from one of the after-school programs. So you know, there's kids, a lot of kids who don't have sneakers.
Yeah.
I'm like, I didn't have a lot of sneakers, so now as I'm at work, I'm gonna have to make a post, asking anybody who has done these sneakers, you know, especially for the youth, to donate.
Which I think you'll get a really good response. My son was on Fish Milner, this was a couple years ago, and one of the teams, the kids were coming, and they, a couple of them didn't have sneakers, snacks, nothing, so we worked with Shepherd County, and when we reached out to the community, I can't even tell you the people that went out and bought new sneakers, and then companies donate sneakers, and I think Fire Grocer donated like hundreds of snacks and Gatorade. So I think when you put it out there to, you know, with everyone, but especially with kids, it's home and people really come out. So it's a good, you know, good initiative.
Any other questions for us?
I should have brought my flyers.
Okay, you want, we can just put our flyer on Facebook, and if you're not, is anybody not on our newsletter? Has anyone not received them? Okay, I'll show you how to sign up for it too, or I can sign you up for you before you leave. And I'll send the flyers out for our email.
Can you spell the name of your organization? I'm not sure I heard it right.
Sure. You're recording me too. It's capital G, IVINGS as in Sam. Capital C, it's all one word. LOSET. So Giving Closet, all one word.
Okay.
Yeah.
How about those people who aren't on Facebook?
We have our newsletter. I mean, it's really hard for SUNA to really reach out farther than our Facebook and our newsletter currently. But, you know, we do put things out on other platforms as well. And we have Instagram. So we're working on it. It's just, remember, this is only a volunteer. So we can all, and use all our own funds for it. So right now, we put what we can out and have our councilwoman share and everything else. We're getting there. We're getting there.
Any more questions?
Thank you for preserving the community.
Yeah. When I heard her story, I couldn't wait to bring her in. So,
I was like, can you do this? I'm like, oh, I don't know, but I'm good.
You did good then.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
So James isn't here.
Yeah.
We, go ahead.
James, Paul, and Tennille Newt, we asked to join us tonight. James unfortunately could not attend, but Tennille Newt joined us. I'll let her introduce herself, but just some background. Tennille recently won a seat on the Youth School Board, which is great, and she just wanted to come tonight and speak to everybody.
Just wanted to say hi and just thank everybody that came out. As you guys all know, this year for the amount of people that came out for the school elections was huge, and it's a number that we haven't seen in a really long time. So that spoke volumes to everyone. I think it, just the numbers alone was a big movement for our community. I think it's really important right now for our faculty and for our students that we're leading by example and showing them they felt so underrepresented for so long and had, you know, just felt like there was nothing anybody could do, help was not coming. So I think the first thing that our community saw of change was the amount of voters that showed up. And that was huge. So I just want to thank everybody that came out to vote. I want to thank everyone that came out that took time to listen to everybody, you know, during all the forums. We did a lot of work, so it was really important. We're not sworn in yet. I know there's a little confusion. I think everyone, there's a lot of people that thought that we won that night and that was it and want to hear what we're doing. We're officially sworn in July 5th. Will be our swearing-in date. James Paul and I are currently undergoing training, so there is New York State mandatory school board training. We will be finishing that on the 20th of this month, so we've been meeting every Tuesday and Thursday each week, learning a lot. So as Celeste pointed out, I'm going to, you know, work to get you guys all that information so I can share with you what I'm learning, so that I can bring it back to you. We've worked on already, you know, kind of making some things that weren't really transparent. We have a graduation that's coming up for JP and Jonathan for middle school. Parents weren't given letters. Certain parents were given, certain parents weren't. There was a lot of problems with people finding out exactly where it was, when it was. A lot of people didn't know. So we made sure that that was changed immediately so that everybody had access to this graduation and the parents were given proper amount of time because this is a different generation and both parents work nowadays. And it's really hard to get that time off at a short amount of notice. So we need to make sure that things like this, while they might be really small, are brought forth and all of these things are communicated with the public, with parents, so that we can start to bridge that gap. There's a lot of work that needs to be done. There's a lot of healing in the area that needs to be done. We have a lot of faculty at odds. There's, a lot of angst within the school because people have felt so underappreciated for so long that it's still there, that yes, this is the first step, but that you can feel it. And there's a lot of healing that needs to be done. There's a lot of trust that needs to be regained. So little by little, we're going to work on that and working on trying to start things on an even keel and making sure that your voice is represented, because when you elected me, I'm your voice. So I want to make sure that your concerns come through. So I'm open to anybody that has ideas or concerns or anything. I want to hear from you when votes come out and different budgets and items come out. I want to make sure that I'm here for you. We'll be attending events. I know I'll be coming, to all of these as well, so that I can hear from you guys, because I want to make sure that my vote reflects your vote as well, because I am your voice as well. So just want to say thank you to everybody, and July 5th is the swearing date, and little by little we'll start to see some change in here. So thank you. Thank you.
So we weren't sure if we were going to have a lot of people come in here tonight, so we didn't plan a whole lot for this for tonight. However, we have expanded our SUNA, our volunteers to come help us. So it started with just me, and now Jason signed on as our co-chair, and Abby in the back is going to be doing our events.
Hi.
So she's going to help us plan these little monthly field trips that we're doing, and any other ideas we come up with. So if there's something you feel passionate about in the community that you want to volunteer with, whether it's cleaning up or anything that you want to do or enjoy, and you want to make it a part of SUNA, we're happy to take you on as a volunteer. And if you know people who might be interested, then bring them or send them our way. But it's exciting because we just do this on our own time ourselves. So building, having three of us is, for us, it's just cool because we're all kind of working together and trying to make things happen and really have South Utica kind of be able to always take care of each other. So I'm excited to have Abby and Jason hanging out with me going through this. So one of the things we did want to talk about, and I don't know if any of you guys would be interested in, is every year, how many of you go to the Boilermaker? Do any of you watch the Boilermaker? You do? Okay.
I'm running.
Oh, you're running. Awesome. So we're going to try to put together a cheering crowd for South Utica. And hopefully we can get all the other West Utica, East Utica, North Utica to have a cheering crowd. So we'll be sending that out on Facebook, and we can hand out popsicles. We can do all sorts of things. Make big signs, cheer on our runners. So we're going to see if we can get a big group gathered for that day. And so that's one thing we're working on. What else?
Transition, any additional thoughts on field trips?
Okay.
And I'll just so I actually, when Heather and I met last week, I am going to be reaching out, and I've started that process with a nonprofit, Sleep in Heavenly Peace.
Okay.
It's a really cool company. They build beds for children in need. So I know some really big organizations have gone through and volunteered their time and efforts to do that. I think it would be really fabulous if SUNA could come together, or even partner with East Utica, North Utica, and West Utica, if that's the case, and get like a massive build. So I'm working on tentative dates, and when that falls, they do have a calendar where you kind of pick what works best for your group in conjunction with the rest of the communities out there who are participating. So more to come. We can put that in newsletters and such as it gets confirmed, but something to keep in mind and that might strike you to join.
Have you guys heard of Sleep in Heavenly Peace?
Yeah.
I think they're all over the
They had a big event recently.
Yeah, so they're always needing hands to make beds for children. Some children have never had beds before, so that's different blankets.
They had an event at Sanger
They did a
County
big one.
Hall.
Yep, that's right. That's right. So
Yeah.
all of this is good. All the bringing the community together to do this, but we're still not forgetting that there are those issues, And we will bring in, when you guys let us know what the issues are, we can bring in the right people. So when I put a post out there that says, hey, is there an issue or something you'd like to discuss at the meeting, ask us so we can get the right people in here for you. You know, we've had Marcus Phillips here for codes and related stuff. We've had all different people come and guest speak. So if there's something that you need or you want to hear about or you're concerned about, you know, let me know and we will bring the appropriate people. So, does anybody have anything they want to discuss tonight? Or any issues or matters that they want to bring to our attention that we can work on and just get the right people in? So,
I just want to bring one thing up to go all the way back. So the neighborhood center decided on Hartford County rather than over on Parkside Court. It's just really important for people to understand going into these conversations. We need to have these conversations in advance. We need the neighborhood to be involved. But just keep in mind that these, in the end, these are private decisions being made by private people about how to dispose of their property and how to use it. There's only so much legal authority the city has to tell people what they can do where. There's some, but it's not as much as sometimes people think. I think we ought to keep our ear to the ground. Same thing with St. Elizabeth's, how that property is going to end up being disposed of. And make sure that we include the neighborhood as much as possible in those discussions as those properties get used differently. But just sort of remember that at the end of the day, again, these are private properties and people can sell them and use them in accordance with the laws of the city of Utica. And, you know, there aren't, so just keep that in mind.
I'm like a little lull out there right now. I'm trying to find out what's going to happen in South Utica, like building what? And then I'm like clearing trying to find out what's going on. So, but in the end, if things are saying they're going to come no matter what, we just have to figure out how are we going to move forward with this? What are we going to do to make this so that it doesn't affect our community? Hopefully, I'm not saying hopefully, but maybe we won't have a crisis prevention center in this location, but we'll see what happens going forward. Okay. Well, does anyone have anything they want to talk about or any questions or anything for SUNA?
No.
Yeah.
I just have an addendum to last month's meeting. I talked about the lack of sidewalks on Eastwood.
Yeah.
And after the meeting, coming home, I came down Eastwood. And there was a man and a woman and a baby stroller in the road at Eastwood. Now, I didn't veer right to make a point, but this is a continuing problem, and I don't expect it really to be done in my lifetime, but I'm still going to bring it up. I think the only way something's going to get done is if somebody does get hit, either seriously injured or killed, and then they have a little memorial on the side of the curb, and then maybe something is done. But I thought it was ironic on my way home that I did see this couple with the baby carriage right in the driving lane. So, just an addendum.
Thank you, Richard. Actually, I really appreciate you reminding me that. Don't leave tonight before I talk to you.
All right, so we're going to cut SUNA, take a reset of SUNA until September, and then we'll be back in. What I do encourage is that you tell your friends still about the meetings, sign up for the newsletters. I've got a button right on Facebook, or if you're not signed up, I can sign you up before you meet tonight. We're still going to be running SUNA. We're just not going to have it inside here. It's just going to be on Facebook, through our newsletters, and you can still message us. And like I said, if a big concern or something does come up that is detrimental to the community or concerning, we will hold one of our meetings in July for that. So, yeah, that is it for our person. Sorry, it's a short meeting. We really didn't think anyone was going to show up today. We're like, I don't know if we're going to come, so we're just going to do the real quick. Okay. Well, thank you guys. Does anyone have any questions or anything else?
There was a new festival that started yesterday at the Jewish Community Center called Utica.
Yeah.
And it was outdoors, and They had music, trivia, a lot of food, a lot of booths there. And I talked to Victor, one of the heads of it, and they want to make it an annual event.
I heard very good things about that.
It was
Food
really
was great, I heard
It was
the kids had a
amazing.
lot of fun. I couldn't go for those up north.
If you drove down at night and you're like, why are there all these cars everywhere? It's Utica. It was really, really great. The organizers did an amazing job.
That's all I have for guys, for you guys today. Sorry, it's such a short meeting, it's our first meeting.
Anybody have any specific questions about anything going on the council?
Was what?
Anything going on the council? I don't have anything to report. If things are kind of quiet, because in July and August, we only meet once each month. So there's not a lot of.
What's going on? There's supposed to be a guest speaker on the 15th?
Yes, so you might have noticed a couple of weeks ago that there were all these white hoses on top of the ground, like on
Arlington.
Prestway and top of Arlington.
Mhm.
So, and Mike Bellini lives on Prestway, so he knew what was going on, but he was fielding all sorts of questions from his neighbors. So he asked the head of engineering from the water authority to come in to the council this Wednesday, on Wednesday, to just to describe to us what that project was about. They took the water lines and they reamed them out and then coated them in epoxy that seals hard in order to try to increase the interior diameter of those pipes, in order to increase water flow to the houses. They do it very carefully. They test the water before they begin, after they begin, they test it over and over again. And it was a hope that they could increase the water flow without having to actually replace the mains, which is really disruptive. So it was about the water mains. And all those white pipes and hoses on top of the ground were the temporary mains that delivered water to all those houses while the work was being done.
What time is he speaking?
7 o'clock meeting.
Okay.
So the meeting starts at 7, he'll probably start at 7:15, after we've done the pledge and things like that.
All right, guys, this is the shortest meeting ever, but anyway, so we'll see you in September. If you have questions or concerns again,